It's another day, and that means another opportunity for video game journalists and the people who run entertainment shows to be completely out of touch with what audiences actually want. And now we're finding out just days after Dragon Age of Veilguard was nominated for a Hugo Award that it's leading the Gaming Awards 2025 nominations. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, it's pretty fitting the Dragon Age of Veilguard isn't really getting nominated for any sort of legitimate awards like Game of the Year or Best RPG. It's only getting nominated for the performative categories, right? Like at the Game Awards, it was in the accessibility category. For the Hugo Awards, it's probably not going to win, but I mean, clearly they chose it because it's got a inclusive story. You have now it leading the Gaming Awards 2025 nominations. This game is pretty gay. So, I mean, maybe it will actually win something, even if it's a performative award. It says, though, nominations for the 5th annual Gaming Awards have been announced, with Dragon Age of Veilguard picking up 3 across 12 categories, including Game of the Year. In my opinion, in no way, shape, or form does Dragon Age the Veilguard deserve to win any categories, unless they are categories like Worst Game of the Year or Most Forced Diversity and Inclusivity. It was a disaster all around, at least in my opinion. It did not feel like the Dragon Age I had previously played and millions of people ended up loving. They went in this like new modern audience direction that just didn't sit well with me, and clearly a lot of other people, given this game underperformed, like so many games that decide to put a narrative before entertainment value. The characters were, I guess, memorable in some ways just because of how poorly written they were and how cringy they were. Like the, of course, Tosh moment where she sits down at the table and says, "By the way, I'm non binary." You can't get away from moments like that. Of course, we are always going to remember the top surgery scar toggles and the pronouns and all of these just wild options, at least in my opinion. It was a really bad game all around. The only thing I could say that was decent about it really were some of the environments were okay. Some of them were pretty, but most of the time it was just mediocre. And of course, most games should be pretty nowadays. And the combat was all right, but the rest of the game was so bad that it ruined any kind of enjoyment I really got out of this experience, and a lot of other people feel the same. It says, though, Life is Strange, Double Exposure, Dragon's Dogma 2, The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered, Caravan Sandwich, Fear the Spotlight, and Paper Mario all have 2 nominations across the categories. So again, we're just talking about them, first of all, choosing to go for remasters, which I personally don't agree with. I do not think at Game Awards for Game of the Year, remakes and remasters should be considered. That's just my 2 cents. I think that they should have their own categories, but of course they're going to nominate something like The Last of Us Part 2, where they kill the main character in order to make way for a strong, independent woman. Dragon's Dogma 2 was all right, and the rest, well, it is what it is. Other awards include Best LGBTQ plus Indie Games, Best LGBTQ plus Character Awards, LGBTQ plus Voice Actors of the Year Awards, alongside the Industry Diversity Award and the Community Impact Award. I always think that it's so funny to see things like this happening because, of course, they can have these sorts of award shows. They can praise whatever games they want and give fake awards to whoever they want, but ultimately, these people are constantly saying, you should not criticize my identity, right? I'm a human being and it's just a part of me and it's not that big of a deal. Yet all they really do is flaunt their identity through, award shows and basically begging for praise. Like, I do not care what you are, if you can make a good game or if you are a part of a good game, but ultimately these people just constantly want to, throw in your face, oh, by the way, this game has these types of characters and I'm this type of person. Of course, when it comes to performative award shows, they almost always get completely dunked on. I also think that it's funny that in the Industry Diversity Award, they put Blizzard Especially after just a few years ago, all of the accusations that Blizzard went through. The only thing I've seen Blizzard doing lately is giving millions of dollars to organizations like Women in Games that demand censorship within the industry. But I had recently covered how Dragon Age the Veilguard was a Hugo Award game finalist. And the reason why it ended up being a finalist is actually because it is a story-based game, right? They're praising the story of this, which I at first was like, well, these people don't really know what makes a story good. But what kind of infuriated me the most is because when you look at this list, it's Caves of Qud, I think that's how you say it, Veilguard, Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, which was a good game, by the way, Loreline, the Laser Eyes, Tactical Breach Wizards, 1000X Resist, but yet they don't put Black Myth Wukong, a game that is literally the story of Journey to the West. Absolutely phenomenal story, absolutely fantastic adaptation, my game of the year, perfect game or near perfect, right? And what do? They ignore its existence because they know that it would sweep the competition here. These people are so biased that they are willing to overlook legitimate games, legitimate experiences because they want to push narratives. Now, of course, Dragon Age of Veilguard has not done so well. Its all-time peak at release or near release was 89,418 on Steam, which you would think for EA and BioWare, legendary franchise, Dragon Age, it would at least hit 100K. It did not. And players in game right now are 1,807. And of course, when it comes to story games, people play the base experience and then they don't come back unless they want to do another playthrough or DLC releases. And we know that this isn't getting like any sort of big story release, though it's just funny to see how mighty this game series used to be and how much it has fallen, because while I am, of course, sad about it on one hand, I am happy to see that the new modern take on Dragon Age failed, because I don't want them to continue making modern Dragon Ages. So one part of me is sad, another part of me is, extremely happy to see that this happened. And of course, we know that this game underperformed. We're probably never getting another Dragon Age game. So I guess give them all the gay awards that you can, because, well, unfortunately, we're never going to be getting another game within this series. So if you didn't already know, well, now you do. When it comes to Dragon Age the Veilguard, it's leading the Gaming Awards 2025 nomination, which is just absolutely hilarious in my opinion. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I will talk to you all again in the next video really soon.